This is the beginning of something huge. The New York Mets have added the final piece to their starting rotation, and fans are not only stoked about the move, but also hopeful that this guy will be just like the other young guys, which is exactly what we're going over only here on Mets Digest. So stay tuned to hear who we're talking about and everything about him. I'm your host today, Mike Duda, and before we dive into the final piece to unlock a 2015-esque New York Met rotation, we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please do me a favor, do us a favor here in Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Kicking it off with the fact that this guy was not only rumored to come up, but he was rumored just mere hours to have his MLB debut, as earlier this morning, top starting pitcher Brandon Sproat, that being a top starting pitching prospect, is, quote, in strong consideration for a start with the big league club soon, according to SNY's Andy Martino. Sproat, and they talk about his statistics and how great he's been of late. The Mets will know by tomorrow, as in tomorrow being Friday, whether the struggling Kodai Senga will accept a minor league assignment or not, reported by the New York Post's Mike Puma yesterday. That being on Wednesday. We got a video coming out tomorrow all about this Kodai Senga drama. How can he be going to the minor leagues? Well, stay tuned for that. That'll all be tomorrow. Today is Sproat's day. We should know if Sproat will be coming up for a start with the Mets very soon. And yes, indeed, here he is. The New York Mets are calling up Brandon Sproat to make his MLB debut in a start on Sunday against the Reds. Now, that is indeed Kodai Senga's spot, so we'll see how that all plays out tomorrow. Again, video coming on that tomorrow, and we'll know more information tomorrow. But like I've said, this is a Brandon Sproat video, as it is official. But notice what the MLB's X, formerly known as Twitter, said. The Mets are calling up another pitching prospect. Brandon Sproat will make his first career start on Sunday in Cincinnati, according to MLB's Anthony DiComo. That, of course, being the Mets beat reporter, a big insider with the Mets, arguably the biggest insider for the club. So, why did they say another? Well, it's because of these guys. Sproat now joins Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong to be top prospects called up for the Amazons here in 2025. And honestly, within the past month, which is kind of insane to talk about. Now, it has worked incredibly. I know it's only one start for Jonah Tong, but it's worked well for him in that one start, and you cannot have written anything better for Nolan McLean. His first 4 starts have been phenomenal. Tong, 1 start, got the win, 1 earned run over 5 innings, a 1.80 ERA, and Nolan McLean is not only 4-0 over 26 1/3 innings pitched in his 4 career starts with a 1.37 ERA, but he is the first MLB pitcher since 2014 to win his first 4 appearances and the first ever New York Met in franchise history to accomplish the feat. I think I was personally saying Jonah Tong will be the best out of the 3, but it might be McLean. I mean, who knows? But who cares? If all 3 of these guys come up and dominate, it doesn't matter. As here it is in a visual form. Nolan McLean, before getting called up, the number 3 prospect in the Mets system. Jonah Tong was 4. All of these guys, 4 and above, were in the top 44 in all of MLB prospects. Sproat was 5th for the Mets. He has not been a part of the top 100 according to MLB Pipeline here in 2025, but before the season, he was indeed ranked up there. So, as we always do, let's kick it off with a prospect outlook. 24 years of age, that being Brandon Sproat, 6'3", 215 pounds, double righty. 2nd round pick of the Mets back in 2023, but as we'll hear in just a little bit, he was actually drafted by the club before that, which is something that doesn't happen every day. Unfortunately, online, there is nothing that shows when it's happened before, but it definitely is rare. We'll get into that in just a second. ETA, of course, here in 2025, that is true. He has been called up. Scouting grades on a scale of 20 to 80, 20 being the worst in the particular category, and 80 being the best. A 55 fastball, so not bad on the fastball. 45 curve, not great. Slider at 55, solid. Great changeup at 60. Good control at a 50 for an overall 50 prospect. And with that, let's turn it over to MLB.com. What did they have to say about Sproat? A rare 2-time pick, we were talking about this earlier, by the same organization. Sproat chose not to sign with the Mets as a 3rd-round pick in 2022, but granted the organization permission to take him again a year later. Very interesting fun fact right there. New York did, this time in the second round, and signed him for a slot at $1.474 million after striking out 134 in 106 and a thirds innings at Florida in 2023, that being the University of Florida, UF. Sproat flew through the Mets system in his first season, climbing from High A Brooklyn to Triple A Syracuse. Didn't even play rookie ball, and he somehow, someway made it. Started in High A and made it all the way to Triple A in his last couple of starts of the season. That is not something that you see every day. That is insanely impressive, while posting a 3.40 ERA and fanning 131 again in 116 and a third innings. To continue, they go on to say the 6'3" right-hander's fastball stands out more for its velocity than its shape. Sproat will run the four-seamer up to triple digits on occasion and continue to sit in the 95 to 98 mile-an-hour range, even late in the season at AAA. But there isn't great ride on the pitch, so it's kind of flat, and we've seen this with Ryan Helsley before. He throws a very flat fastball, very hard, but it's flat, and obviously he's being hit really, really hard, and batters in the minor leagues top level took advantage, hitting 380 off that fastball alone. Sproat can also work in a sinker around the same velocity band, and the extra look helps generate a lot of ground ball contact. We've seen this time and time again. We love this with David Peterson, Nolan McLean, even Jonah Tong. They got a lot of ground balls, and we love seeing that as fans. His upper 80s changeup gets the right amount of separation and fade to give the former Gator a weapon against lefties, and after early struggles in 2025, he's leaned on the pitch more to right himself. That being basically when he's throwing the fastball and he's not doing well with it, he's going to throw that changeup just to get his control back, get his stamina back, get his confidence back, and then he's back at it. Sproat works with both an 84 to 86 mile-an-hour sweeper and a harder 88 to 90 mile-an-hour slider. The former is better, that being the sweeper, at generating whiffs. A 79 to 81 mile-an-hour curveball offers another occasional breaker. Here's the last thing they had to say. Sproat was in control over command in his first taste of the minors. He kept walk rates generally in check, but AAA batters proved they could bang pitches he leaves too much over the plate. That said, Sproat has the velocity and pitch mix to feature as a starter, and he's shown enough ability to adjust in tough times to keep his place on New York's starting depth chart for now, and obviously is now in the starting rotation. So let's continue this discussion. This time it'll be Andy Worley of MLB.com. He's going to talk a little bit more in depth, saying that Sproat, a third-round pick of the University of Florida in 2023, entered the year as the Mets' top prospect and number 46 overall on MLB Pipeline's top 100 list, following an impressive first professional season in 2024 that saw him dominating High A with a 107 ERA and Double A with a 245. We'll talk stats in just a bit, before running into a wall in his first taste of AAA, 7.53 ERA in 7 starts. His AAA scuffles resurfaced early this year with a 6.02 ERA and 147 WHIP through May 31st, and his prospect standing took a commensurate hit amid McLean and Tong's ascension, that being Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong. But the 24-year-old found his groove in June, going 6-2 with a 3.13 ERA and 189 batting average against in his final 15 games, including pitching 7 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts in his last start on Saturday, that being his most recent start. So, for a little bit more on the actual player himself, we continue with Worley. He says Sproat sits in the high 90s and occasionally hits triple digits with his four-seam fastball and scouts loud his upper 80s mile-an-hour changeup, a pitch he leaned on more to overcome his early 2025 struggles. He also boasts an upper 90 sinker, mid-80s sweeper, 89 to 91 slider, and an 80 to 82 curveball. A varied pitch mix that will help him keep major league hitters on their toes as he tries to blow them away with his heater. Again, a little bit of concern, but that's probably because we've seen Ryan Helsley time and time again. He throws a bit of a flat fastball, and he doesn't really have much to pair with. Helsley only throws 2 pitches, so a little bit more of excitement around Sproat. He throws super hard, although it's flat, but he's got multiple pitches to help that a little bit, help keep the batters off their toes. So with that, let's turn it over to the skip, Carlos Mendoza. He had a couple of remarks on Sproat during spring training, saying this is a guy that stuff-wise is right there with anybody. Now he's learning how to pitch, learning how to get through a lineup. not only once, but 3 times through an order because hitters will adjust to it. So with that, let's turn it over to the statistics. Last thing that we have to talk about Sproat before he makes that highly anticipated MLB debut on Sunday. As you can tell, he shoved in 2024. That ERA is a little bit high because he was very, very bad in AAA. But like we saw time and time again, 24 in high A and double A, he was stellar. 107, 245 ERAs respectively. Didn't have a ton of innings worked. He did a good amount in AAA, pitched a good amount at the end of 2024, and like we heard before, was terrible to begin 2025, but really started to find it late. And with that, and with the heat coming from Sproat, and a lot of coolness coming off the arms of Senga and Minaya, them not pitching well, the New York Mets have decided to take their chance on Brandon Sproat. They want him now. They want the fresh arm. And with that, I don't know. I'm feeling like a little bit of 2015 New York Mets. I know I've mentioned this a lot before, but in 2015, you had a bunch of names that were highly anticipated. Matt Harvey, who just started an All-Star game 2 years before. Zach Wheeler, Steven Matz, Noah Syndergaard, Jacob deGrom, one of the best pitchers in Met history. And here you are, 3 more guys. Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, and Nolan McLean. You pair that with David Peterson, who is also a homegrown talent. It is vital to keep your prospects and to make sure that your prospects are ready to bloom and blossom here in the big leagues. That's exactly what the Mets have done since drafting these guys in 22 and 2023. So great job between Billy Epler and David Stearns to hold on to the key pieces, and hopefully they shine. Of course, that being Brandon Sproat on Sunday. You're going to see Tong, you're going to see McLean, you're going to see Sproat. It's exciting here in Flushing. So go down there in the comment section. Let me know if you are also excited. I can't wait for Sunday. Another guy getting his shot at the big league level. Another top prospect. It worked out great for Tong in his first start. McLean threw his first 4. So hopefully Sproat is the exact same way. I really do feel that we are getting 2015 vibes here from this starting rotation. But let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know your thoughts on Sproat. Do you think he's going to pan out or not? I sure hope he does, but we will see on Sunday. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you in this breaking news edition of Mets Digest. Stay tuned tomorrow as we're going to talk about the potential corresponding move. If Kodai Senga does indeed agree to go down to the minor leagues, that will be the corresponding move. But if not, what will it be? Stay tuned tomorrow to hear all of that information. But like I said, unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you here in this breaking news update. Thank you so much, always, for watching, and let's go Mets.